to where you started from, and it's a hard trail to walk when you've done so much wrong, and I don't...
Skylar, thank you so much for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jamie.
Especially because, honestly, you're such a busy girl this time.
Oh, man. It's been a lot, but it's all good. It's all fun stuff, you know? So it's good.
Yeah.
And this is fun, too. I'm excited to do it.
And you look fresh. You look like, you look fantastic. And for the people that are in the audio portion, like, I'm looking at you and you look like fantastic. I look like a mess.
Thank you.
But but people don't know, Skylar, that yesterday you had like a live stream going on, performed a bunch of songs. Did great, by the way. I was in there undercover. I put on my little spy cap and fake mustache and.
Perfect.
It was amazing. But yeah, you look amazing. Good for you.
Thank you, man. I was not, I'm a musician, and 11 a.m. is still a little tough, so.
Right.
Even though it shouldn't be. I'm not saying that's right, but.
No, listen, I get it. But yeah, no, we have a lot to talk about. Congratulations on a fantastic album, Skylar. Roses.
Thank you.
Comes out August 14th, and oh my God, every track, from Long Way Back to the last chords of Southern Strain. What a beauty.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're going to talk about it because he has a great evolving story. You worked on it for so long. So yeah, good stuff, Skylar. All right, cool. Yeah, let's start with this, Skylar. How would you characterize, the year for you and for Taylor, for your husband, Taylor Leonardo? You guys obviously, had this big release happening, planned, and then everyone got their rug pulled under their feet. How's the year been for you?
Obviously, my husband is a full-time musician, and we miss playing shows so much. It's so fun to do those live streams like we did yesterday, just to get even feel like you're playing for an audience, But about releasing the record, we kind of, before we went forward with releasing it, we sat down and we were like, is this a good time to do this? Should we just wait? And we kind of came to the conclusion, and I think that there are a lot of people that maybe don't need, or that need the tour support, that can't release stuff right now. But we were like, if people can have something to just bring them some joy right now, or some reflection, or just any sort of entertainment, since we don't have sports or television or anything, maybe we should just move on. And also, to be honest, it's kept me really busy and focused, and I think in a better headspace than maybe if I was just sitting around waiting, that it wouldn't have been so good,
Sure. No, it's interesting you bring that because, we talked to a lot of musicians, and a lot of them have their album cycles appended, right? And there was a lot of mourning because everyone had their touring plans, it's great and all that. But you're right. There's been a silver lining, and it's that people have been able to connect with music on a deeper level like they haven't done in years, right?
Yeah, they're listening to albums front to back, and I feel like we really left that at some point. And I think it's really neat, especially when artists spend so much time kind of lining these tracks up and presenting or what at least I wanted to do, and I know a lot of artists do this, presenting the whole package, kind of like a narrative all the way through.
Yeah,
so that's cool that they're doing that.
Exactly. And for example, so when Roses comes out, people will get to really enjoy it. And whenever you get out on the road, inevitably, it'll be better. People are going to have a real connection to the whole thing, not just the singles or your hits. It's going to be great.
Great. Thank you for saying that, Jamie. I think that, I hope that you're right, so that's cool.
Yeah. Now, in the meantime, of course, it's hard for the gig workers and the soundboard people and all that. So just gotta weather the storm together. But Skylar, let me talk a little bit about your early life, if you will. Really fascinating stuff. You were raised around musicians. Your family moved to Nashville to pursue music careers when they were young, right? When you were young. Your dad a songwriter, and your mom as a piano major at Belmont University, Skylar. Tell me a little bit about your first memories of music in your house. When you were young, and do you have first recollections of hearing your mom jamming the piano, your dad playing Eagles? What are your first memories?
Oh yeah, those are all things. My dad's really into Americana and country music, so there was lots of Jackson Brown and Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson and all that kind of stuff. And I specifically remember my dad plays piano as well, but he mostly plays guitar. But every Sunday morning while we were getting ready for church, my dad played piano. And so I just remember like that kind of resonating in the house on Sunday mornings, you know. And then I think I got a lot more, like if I was sitting down and playing in my house when I was a kid, there was always instruction involved. Like somebody was always coming in the room being like, well, you know, you need to practice that with the metronome, or, you know, your guitar is out of tune, or that kind of thing. And I don't know. I think that it was better, you know, for me as a musician, because I was just like always learning whether I knew it or not. At the time I was like, oh my God, please get out of here. But now I'm like, oh, thank you for, you know.
I was going to ask you that, right? Because like, you know, most of us, when our parents are like, you know, whatever, don't chew with your mouth open or something like that. We're like, fuck, you know, screw you, parents. It's a thing. Is it the same for musicians? Is it, even though they're right, is it like, mom, get off my butt, you know? Yeah,
totally. So there was some of that, but I think that it was good for me as a musician to get that instruction. And then I married my husband, and he is a professional bass player, so now I still get it. He still walks in the room and he's like, you know, you really need to practice that song with the metronome. So I don't know what that says about me, but it's nice to have somebody holding you accountable all the time, you know.
Maybe that's the name of the tour, the Metronome World Tour, you know, playing Roses front to back.
Yeah. They'll love that.
Oh my God, that's epic. But you know, that's awesome that you mentioned your dad and what he likes, because it comes through in your music. I think it got to your DNA. I hear attitude. I hear the attitude of Merle Haggard, of Jackson Brown. I hear a little rough around the edges, and I love it. That's the cool thing. So cool.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's unavoidable. The rough around the edges, you know. So
cool. That's cool. In college, let's go to college. You joined your first like real band, but basically, you've alluded to this in some of your interviews and stuff. But what was the name of the band, and what type of music did you play? Were you playing bars, fraternity houses? Take us inside one of those highlights for you.
For sure. The band was called Rhythm Kitchen, and we actually used to play Long Way Back, which is the first single off of the record. And we played dive bars, and we did a lot of blues jams, which we would just be like kind of the band that played first, and then we would just let everybody come and sit in and play with us. We hosted a lot of those. But yeah, I think I learned definitely how to like book gigs and put together set lists and set up a PA and all those things with that band. And I'm still friends with all of those people. We just have kind of started all doing our own thing, you know?
Yeah, interesting. That's great, Skylar. And you mentioned, you know, putting a set list together. That's an art, right? What is, like, okay, when you're putting a set list together, Skylar, for you, like, let's say, for example, you know, the major hits, I don't know, when do you make the decisions of, like, should I start a set with this, or should that be my encore? Like, are these easy decisions to make, or like, how does that work a little bit?
You know, I read David Byrne's book, How Music Works. Have you ever read that book?
I have not, but I love David Byrne.
You should it's a fantastic book.
Yeah. Have you seen his show, American Utopia?
What'd you say?
Did you see his show, American Utopia?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think it's on Broadway now, but it's fantastic. But anyway, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll totally check that out. I did not know that was the thing. But he has a section in his book where he talks about imagining the venue that you're going to be playing in and kind of like playing to the venue, you know? And so I think that it's, I've started thinking about it in a different way, like definitely taking into account, like, this is a bar. Nobody wants to hear 3 ballads in a row. They want to hear songs like Drunken Nashville that they can like yell and scream and be, you know, have fun with, you know? Yeah. And so I think going into a set, I'm like, okay, where am I playing? And sometimes it changes, because if it ends up being a more intimate setting with like less people, sometimes they want to connect more and hear stories, you know? But sometimes we just come out ripping and we don't quit, you know? So it just depends on where you're playing and who you're playing for. Yeah, but yeah, I always take that into account now and realize how important that is and kind of the pacing of things, you know?
super important, you know, like personally I like it like when it starts quick, but I also like when it has its down periods where you get a chance to like breathe, understand what you just saw, maybe go to the bathroom, something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like I went to a show, I won't name the artist, but she has a ton of singles, and it was a really poorly constructed set. It was like too much energy all the time. There was never a time to catch your breath, and that is also bad. But yeah, anyway.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but I digress. What are some of the best shows you've seen, Skylar, as a fan? I know that one of the songs in your new record is about perfume when you were in a show, but tell me, like, as you, like, as an individual, what are the shows you've seen in your life that like have stuck with you forever?
Well, definitely I saw Tedeschi Trucks Band at the Ryman a few years ago, and that show was just absolutely fantastic. It was like, felt more like a religious experience, you know, than a show that you were at. The first show I ever went to, well, my family all plays, and so I used to go watch shows that my family were in all growing up. But the first show that I ever went to, at like where I went and got the ticket, and that was the show that I wanted to see, was Hanson.
Oh,
and I think
nice.
that it was when I was like 13, and I think it was influential. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome, you know? Even if it was Hanson. But for a 13-year-old, I was like, those kids are playing instruments.
Yeah.
That's awesome, you know?
Oh,
so,
yeah. That was everyone had that album. Are you kidding? It was great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That green cover, whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk a little bit about your music, Skylar. Oh my God, you're so funny. Let's start with Time Machine. I love that. I love that EP. It came out in 2017. It's a cracker. 26 minutes. It goes by like a journey. Straight up blues, rock and roll. It's awesome. People should start with that with you. How do you look back on this EP, 3 years after it came out?
Man, I haven't thought a lot about those until people started asking me about them. I think that I've been very like forward focused and always trying to get better. But yeah, those were produced here at my house with my husband in our home studio. Mm-hmm. And that was a cool experience. But man, working with somebody else that has more of an outside perspective, I think we really got closer to where we wanted to be. It was just hard to do everything, and I know some people are so good at it. Some people self-produce and their records are amazing. Yeah. I think that me and my husband would both agree that we were glad to just be able to sing the songs and play the bass, and not have to worry about all the technical things and like making sure everybody's like fed and coffeed up and all the things. Right. So that was Red nice Bull, to just come in the studio and kind of get to like really focus.
Of course, that's cool. That's cool. By the way, it's funny you say you're forward looking. You don't look back like at your songs and be like, you're in the shower today, getting ready for your weekend. You're like, man, I wish I would have used that word, or I wish I would have changed the tempo a little bit. Does that happen to you or not really?
I think that's why I have to stay forward focused, because that can happen frequently. You're like, oh, why did I say that? That's such a dumb way to say that, but occasionally, especially that first record, I'll go back and listen to those songs and I'll be like, oh my God, I forgot about this song. We should play this, Yeah. And those are nice moments that maybe I didn't play them very much when I first did them, but then from like a new perspective, didn't measure up as one of those songs for me. I just really like that song,
So good. Oh my God, you're such a fun talk. Like time is flying, and I want you to play a song for us. But I have to talk about the new record as well. So good. Okay, so I have to tell you my standout track, "Never Enough." What a song! Jesus Christ, powerful, raw, and it just kind of gets to everyone. But I just want to tell the story to my audience of your album. You started writing it in 2009, was it? Mm-hmm. So it is like it's like an evolving record where you've kind of put in. We have a cameo from the.
Sorry,
the
yeah, this is.
No, it's cool. He's the executive producer of the album, of course. But
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the song is amazing how you built it. It's songs from different years, and you can almost like see in the lyrics your evolution as a person. which is great. But this one, Never Enough, was in 2014, so like in the middle of the cycle, 6 years ago. And it is about, addiction. I think you talk about maybe some sort of like chemical addiction, but I think, we're all addicted to something, Skylar, and I think that's why it resonates. Some of us are addicted to attention. Some of us are addicted to hurting other people. Some of us are addicted to food, but we're all addicted to something. So tell us a little bit about this tune.
In the middle of my 20s, it just started. I never really dealt with that in my younger years. I didn't have any family members who struggled with like drug and alcohol addiction or anything like that. But in my mid-20s, I started to see a lot of people around me. We lost some people from my hometown to being drug addicts and stuff. And I was really dealing with some of those feelings. And then, I think like you said, we all kind of resonate with the idea of addiction because we're all, we can all fall into that. We all have something that can take us over, And so I just wanted to write a song. Food can be addictive to some people, and that's what keeps us alive, So it's just, I wanted to write a song talking about some of those feelings and those, and what addiction feels like to me, Yeah. And I'm lucky that I haven't ever struggled with being addicted to alcohol, but I feel for the people who are. That's a tough thing. Yeah. And I think that I heard a story about how heroin kind of changes your brain to like think that it's food and nourishment, And I just think that's like so crazy. Yeah. But I feel for those people and for all of us to try to just, maintain balanced lives. Which is tough to do sometimes.
Great song. Okay, Long Way Back was kind of the first ones that you did for the album, if not the first. And it is the story here, your brother makes an appearance here in the story of the song, right? Because, if you tell us the story, but it's like you giving some advice to your brother, right?
Right. And, I've told him in retrospect, like he's doing great now. He's, and our relationship is rekindled and all that stuff. And I think that most siblings go through that, Sure. But in retrospect, I was so angry at him for being so wild and not really pretty much just making my parents angry. And then looking back, I did the same thing, So in retrospect and kind of moving forward, I was like, oh man, like maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on him. But that was my message to him at the time was like, you better get your act together, Yeah.
No, and you love her. You love him. And like, that's what siblings should do. Like, this is, and again, this was written in 2009. So it's like a look back and it's almost like, look how far you've come. It's cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we've had that conversation. And I think he's totally cool with the song being out there, So
good. He's like the previous Taylor Swift albums, The Ex-Boyfriends. He's like, I think that song's about you, bro. So
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, just so you know. Okay, let's glance over Roses, but it's a beautiful song. It's a stunning song, but I want to talk about Landfill. That's the thing. Landfill is a jewel, Skylar. Holy moly, what a beautiful song. You metaphorically, I think you start talking about the environment. That was your original idea, right? Like you were thinking about the environment, but then, a universal idea, like the garbage inside all of us that we don't deal with. Skylar, let me ask you this, because you talked that you went to therapy and you kind of cleaned this up. Why is it so hard for all of us to embrace our garbage? Why is it so hard?
I guess maybe this is not the, because you're obviously not from like Tennessee or, and you probably deal with the same things, but I kind of wrote it up as being Southern and kind of like, when you're, the Southern mentality is kind of like, if someone asks you how you're doing, you just say, oh, I'm great. How are you? Regardless of what's going on, and you just kind of like pack those feelings down. When you visit your family, you're like, everything is awesome. We're great, And I kind of chalked it up to that mentality. But I don't know, maybe it just is hard to address those things, Maybe it's just like challenging to kind of dig into all of these backstories of things that have happened, It's way easier to just march on. But I used to think that that was kind of weak to deal with those things, but I'm realizing that if you deal with them, it does make you stronger, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which is a lesson that I learned from going to see my therapist. God bless her. And I think that everyone should go. No one is free of the garbage, you know?
No, thank you for sharing that, because yeah, and especially it's definitely not a Southern thing, but I hear what you're saying. In the South, everyone is so nice and polite, and Southern hospitality, that whole thing is real.
Right.
But with the Corona thing, it's like, listen, like we're all struggling with something. And I think that, yeah, like the people that embrace their garbage and that are able to work on it are the people that are going to be better or faster, you know, recover quicker. We all have stuff to work. Oh my God, Skylar. Yeah, what a great song. It's just a fantastic album, Skylar. You've been so generous with your time. Is the rumor true that you may play a song for us?
Is there what?
Is the rumor true that you may play a song for us?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, I appreciate it so much, especially because, like I said, yesterday you've been performing for the show, for shows, and thank you so much.
Hey, I love doing this. Thank you for asking me. I would love to play a song for you.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
So, I'm going to play Roses if that's okay.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I was actually hoping you were going to play Roses. I was
good.
thinking about it this morning, but I like to let the artist, you know, decide what they're feeling. So awesome. The universe conspired.
Sweet. So this song's called Roses. Do you want me to go ahead and play?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you want to do the intro, this is Roses. This is the second single of your forthcoming album. It comes out August 14th, and it's a beauty. Take it away, Skylar. Love it.
Standing in a dancing crowd of people, ladies' perfume overwhelmed my face. 100 rose clouds gathered around me, smell so vivid I could taste. It reminded me of all who went before me, everyone that I ever knew. It reminded me I ain't got time for nothing more. It reminded me I got too much left to do. They say to stop and smell the roses. Lord, I ain't got enough time. Roses smell like death to me, remind me of all memories. I've got too much shit to do before I die. So find their field of flowers in the effort to like a different kind of bud. I think the essence of a job well done smells sweet to me, while to others the smell of sweat must really sting. They say to stop and smell the roses. Lord, I ain't got enough time. Roses smell like death to me, remind me of old memories. I've got too much shit to do before I die. Roses smell like death to me, remind me of old memories. I've got too much shit to do before I die.
Holy moly. Exactly. Thank you, Kat. Exactly. Oh my God. Skylar. That's perfect. What a song. What a song. Unbelievable. And the lyrics, man, don't look back. Keep moving forward. Life is short. Live with passion. I tell you, this album, Roses, August 14th, everybody, is not only Skylar's voice, her songwriting, and the production, but it's like messages that we all need. Embrace your garbage. Life is short. Build your dreams. My God, Skylar, congratulations. You did something really, really special here.
Jamie, thank you so much. It's been a lot of work, and I wanted to get into the grittiness of being a human, you know, and I hope that we did that and we can make everybody feel like someone else feels like they do, you know?
Absolutely did. You absolutely did, Skylar. Thank you for your time. What are you going to do the rest of your Saturday?
Well, I have to go to another interview, and then I'm going to take a break and get in my kiddie pool in my backyard.
Yeah, please do that. You deserve it, man. Enjoy. Yeah. Absolutely. Skylar, you rock. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be in touch.
You have a great rest of your Saturday, too.